This is Andrew for the Chosen Prime with a video review of PS-03 Backdraft from Ocular Max. This is from the Perfection series. Essentially, this is their version of a Masterpiece Inferno. Here you can see that he comes packaged in his firetruck mode with the clear window, which is kind of a nice homage to the G1 toys. Here is the box next to the one for Sphinx. You can kind of see stylistically they're the same. You get some nice artwork around it. You do get a tech spec here on the back. Part of one of the things you get inside the box is you do get a tech spec reader if you want to see his stats. It's kind of a cool little thing. Inside the box you do get the figure. He comes with a second cartoon accurate head, which we'll install a little bit later. He's got a toy accurate head installed right now. He comes with a bio card and set of instructions that are quite good. And then finally, he actually comes with some water slide decals here and 2 sets, as well as instructions of where to put them. And so you would just look at the instruction sheet here, peel them off with like some tweezers or an X-Acto blade or something like that. Use a little bit of water to get them wet, put them down where you want, and then kind of peel it away. So that's kind of a nice little change here. And you can see you need to do kind of either Japanese styled, kind of Red Alert style, or Portland Fire. They give you some options here, and they give you 2 sets to kind of do what you wanted to do with it. So let's take a look at some detail here on Backdraft. Taking a look at some of the detail here on Backdraft in this fire truck mode. You can see these are nice kind of glossy red paint kind of throughout on top of plastic as well as die cast pieces. It's very similar in person to Masterpiece Ironhide in the way it looks. It's a nice candy color. He does have nice bits of painted detail throughout on these silver bits here, his hose, the stabilizers, the chromed bumper, kind of chrome everywhere. There's a little cannon and all these pipes, horns, and then the top of the ladder here. He does have rubber tires, and the wheels do roll. He has in this mode, he's got a feature here, he's got stabilizers on each side that pull out so that it's a little bit more accurate to when he's lifting his crane arm up in the ladder. So that's kind of neat. He also can open up either side of the doors here, and that cockpit area, or the driver's seat, can actually fit a Masterpiece scaled human figure like a Spike in there. And you do actually get a steering wheel there on the right side, as well as a shifter and everything throughout. It's kind of a nice bit of detail there. This cannon piece here can rotate all the way around. The actual ladder can rotate 360 here in the back. It's got this little stabilizer arm that just feeds down into this space to kind of show off as if it's the way, that's what the mechanism for lifting the arm. And this part actually extends itself to really hold it into place. And then the ladder has multiple sections here to go out that far. And you can use the arm here extended to fully have the ladder kind of set up there. So let's go ahead and move on to his transformation. To transform Backdraft, we come to the ladder assembly up here, lift up. These 2 panels here on the sides slide back, so there's a little lip here. You just kind of get a little nail on there and it'll slide back, sliding these panels back into the this back bed. It actually locks around here too to kind of hold it securely. Then the tops, these are the covers, part of his legs, and so actually the pegging into these little black pieces that are his pegs on his arms, and so you want to sort of split the arms and then lift up and over on these panels to kind of break it free of this black peg here, and that'll free up the legs. So do that on both sides, just lift up, and then the entire lower half here will hinge forward, and we will do the legs first. This little piece here flips up. You flip out the panels, you rotate it, and there is his kind of waist flaps, his feet angle forward fully. You come around to the back. These panels, they will hinge on themselves and close in this forearm, this lower leg here, just like that. The foot, this panel here on the foot, will slide up into the foot, come to the other leg here. Again, just hinge it back and kind of close on the leg. And then the waist piece will peg into his waist here. So we can come to the part back here You can see that his gun, actually it slides and pegs into this assembly on his back, so just go ahead and pull down, and there's his gun. The arms. For the arms, you want to lift down on these panels on both sides, and then open up the doors. The arms will slide forward, and then actually they'll hinge forward even further, like that. You can lift up on the arm, close the door, and then this arm panel here will just go up and close behind the arm, kind of making it kind of nice and clean. So we'll come to the other side, open up the door, open up this panel, rotate this forward and up, close the door. Again, don't forget to push forward and slide the arms forward, and that will let you then lift this panel up. His head just rotates around, and there's a peg to peg in here, because this is the toy head. You want to go ahead and split his ears. His ears will split a little bit. For the arms, rotate them on this hinge here and lift up on the chrome part. Rotate, lift up on the chrome part. By default, he's got two cannon arms. To show off, get one of his hands out, lift down, rotate, and plug it back in, and you'll get his hand. You can do it on both sides. He's got hands or cannons on either side. It's kind of your personal preference. And if you want to make a cannon longer, you can grab and pull the little end piece out to make his kind of cannon hand a bit longer. To do the backpack, fold down on these chrome pieces here and begin to fold the backpack and plugging it into his back. This black piece will even push even further. As far as these little pieces here, rotate them out and then rotate them forward. And we want them to be facing like that, so rotate it out, rotate it down. And then we've got those wings ready to go. The ladder will rotate down on this hinge. We rotate it on all the way. This part here will go ahead and collapse on itself. And this will be the box that goes around his head. And then there is a tab or peg here that matches a peg hole in the back, as well as there are tabs on this box part that match on top of the cab. We want to lift it up and peg it all in, again the back, and then the ones on top of the roof. The ladder will rotate fully down, and these little white pegs here will match spots on the backpack. And we just need to get everything kind of lined up correctly. And there is Backdraft in his robot mode. Taking a look at some details here on Backdraft in his robot mode, you can see that the nice red paint from firetruck mode carries over, as well as all the chrome bits, and lights a nice detail throughout. He does have a ball jointed head that has a whole lot of range to it that you can look up quite a bit and down side to side. Inside the box here, this little cannon here can rotate up or down. These little ear wings can fold back and out of the way. The arms can hinge up and rotate out that far. He does have a ratcheted shoulder, ratcheted bicep, does have a double jointed elbow. His hands can rotate. He has individual fingers on each hand. The bottom three are on separate hinges, whereas there's another joint in his index finger so he can point, and it's a ball jointed thumb. You've got some nice detail here, this little kind of slide-in mechanism that homages the G1 toy, which is quite cool to see. He does have waist swivel. He actually has a ab crunch both forward and back. So you have a whole lot of options as far as posing him that way. If you move the hip skirt out of the way, he does have a universal hip, and it ratchets forward and back. He's got a double jointed knee. You can see that you get some detail as you open it up, so you can bend his knee quite a bit. And we'll show off a little bit some detailed poses. As far as ankle articulation, he can rotate quite a bit. And it's a super heavy. In general, this guy is very heavy. He's well over a pound due to all the die cast, especially in his legs, some in his torso, and he's just a heavy figure. So he's very, very solid. As far as his feet, yeah, he does have the ankle articulation, so he can really go to the side. Thigh swivel. He actually has a toe articulation that you can use, and it's he can hold. I'll show this up in a bit. He can really hold some poses with that way toe there, so you can get him running. So Ocular Max has done a really good job of kind of making this version of Inferno very poseable and very dynamic. You can see that the legs are fairly clean, the way these panels kind of close everything up. It's just a very, very nice version of Masterpiece Inferno. Here I've installed his cartoon accurate head, which you can see it looks a bit more friendly than the toy version of the head. And changing that was simply a matter of rotating the head around, undoing this screw to make it so it's loose around this ball joint, taking the two halves off, and then doing the same thing and just replacing it with the other one. So if you want, whichever version of the head you want, you can kind of install. It's nice that they gave you both versions depending on how you want to have him look. He can hold his weapon like most Masterpiece figures. He does have a slot in his palm. So we take the gun here, and we extend the barrel, and we can just plug in the hand and then wrap the fingers around it, and then he can hold his weapon. And so, you know, this is a really nice looking version of Inferno here for the Masterpiece scale. So let's show some poses off for this guy. Here you can see that with his weight and the way that he's got these deep ankle tilts and the ab crunch, you can get him to kind of do some nice kind of dynamic looking poses here. He actually, and then with the toe, because of that weight and how he's balanced, he can just, he can sit on that toe if we wanted to and have him look up. Just a whole lot of kind of emotions you can get and posability from this guy. It's quite impressive. That's kind of the benefit of these Ocular Max figures, is they've made them to be very dynamic looking figures. They want you to be able to kind of pose them in action poses, make them so that they look like they have some feeling here. And he's just, that definitely the weight on the feet and the way that they kind of give you all the different options. You have some great possibilities here for this version of Inferno. It's a very nice job here from Ocular Max. Robo-Mo comparisons for Backdraft and Masterpiece Red Alert. These two were commonly partners in the cartoon, so it's good to see them side by side. You can see that there's a lot of details on Backdraft here that kind of match the cartoon aesthetic, as well as matching this Masterpiece aesthetic. Lots of nice detail, but then, still looking like the character from the cartoon. The size difference between these two looks good, and the overall kind of way they match as a pair look pretty good. And so you kind of get best of both worlds here with Backdraft, where he looks not only like the cartoon version of Inferno, but also kind of the toy version as well. Vehicle mode comparisons. Here you can see that they look good side by side in vehicle mode as well. Color-wise, style-wise, it's kind of a good comparison to see these guys side by side in their vehicle modes. And then if you do want to match the style here, this kind of this emblem that they used on Red Alert, they do come with one of the water slide decals here. This one does match that symbol. So it's nice that they let you stylize Backdraft here to match his partner. Here's a comparison in robot mode of Backdraft with other Masterpiece Autobots. We've got Prime, we've got Ratchet, we've got Prowl, and we've got Ocular Max's version of Mirage, Sphinx. You can see that when standing up straight, Backdraft here is about a head shorter than Prime and a little bit taller than Ratchet and Ironhide. So he's kind of taller, bigger scale of bot, but bigger than the standard kind of carb robots like Prowl and Sideswipe. And you can see stylistically he looks good with these other Masterpiece Autobots. He's kind of this nice posable middle ground between cartoon and toy. He's got chrome bits like some of the other bots have, and he just looks good here in comparison. And then once you add in Sphinx, the version of Mirage, you can see that Ocular Max does a really great job of making Masterpiece styled figures. Vehicle mode comparisons. Here you can see Backdraft next to Prime and the other Autobots here in their vehicle modes. You can see that he looks good with the other group, and considering he's got the same kind of driver capacity that Prime has in truck mode, it's nice kind of size they chose here to kind of get him to be show accurate, at least as far as his scale. We can see him next to Ratchet. So again, just a kind of a nice overall scale here between these guys. Prowl, and then once more, here's Sphinx. And as you can see here, Ocular Max does a pretty good job of making these Masterpiece style Autobots. Some final thoughts here on Ocular Max PS-03 Backdraft, or their take on a Masterpiece Inferno. He's yet another excellent Masterpiece styled release from the company. He does fit that aesthetic from Ocular Max of his very poseable, very dynamic figure. He's built to be that emotive version of the character. And what's nice that what they've done is they've made this nice middle ground between the cartoon and the toy as far as this version of Inferno. He's got the detail of the toy, but then he's got the kind of the aesthetic and overall kind of build and scale from the cartoon, and specifically with this head kind of really sells him being a cartoon version of Inferno. And it is that best of both worlds approach is why I might recommend this version of Inferno over the other ones that have either been released or they're on the way. He's kind of a nice sweet spot between, you know, the toy and the cartoon. It hits all the right notes as far as what I would hope a Masterpiece Inferno should be. Backdraft here is currently up from order at the Chosen Prime. If you like what this version of Inferno would bring to your collection, I would recommend it. So take care.